The difference between rich and poor? It's rarely loud, it's rarely obvious, and it's almost never about flashy cars or six-figure salaries. The truth is, the real habits that build wealth happen in silence, behind closed doors, without applause, and often without anyone noticing. They're quiet, subtle, and they compound over time. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the 7 quiet things the rich do that most people don't, especially those stuck in survival mode. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just the real mindset shifts and money moves that quietly build a wealthy life. Let's get into it. Number 1. They buy time before they buy things. Most people are caught in a loop. Trade time for money, then trade money for stuff, and the cycle never ends. But wealthy people quietly operate on a different equation. Before they buy fancy cars or designer brands, they spend money to buy back the one thing they can never earn more of: time. This doesn't mean they're lazy. It means they're strategic. They outsource what drains their energy, from mowing lawns to running errands, not because they can't do it, but because it's not the best use of their time. They automate bills, pay for convenience, and structure their lives so they can spend their energy on high-impact decisions: building, investing, thinking, or even just resting. Because rest isn't laziness, it's recovery. And recovery fuels performance. The poor ask, "Can I afford this?" The rich ask, "Is this moving me forward or holding me back?" They understand this simple truth: money can be replenished. Time can't. Number 2. They play long-term games with long-term people. Wealthy people aren't sprinting. They're running a quiet marathon, and they're very careful about who they run it with. You'll rarely catch them jumping from trend to trend or chasing overnight success. They've learned something most people don't. Fast money fades, but long-term thinking compounds. They pick a game, whether it's real estate, business, or investing, and they go deep. Instead of changing direction every time things get uncomfortable, they stay in the game long enough to become experts. And that's where real leverage begins. But it's not just about the game, it's also about the players. The quietly wealthy surround themselves with people who share the same values: patience over panic, strategy over emotion, building over bragging. They know wealth is never built in isolation. It's built on trust, reputation, and alignment. So they invest in relationships the same way they invest in portfolios, consistently and intentionally. No gossip, no envy, no one-upping. Just long-term people building long-term outcomes together. Because at the end of the day, who you align with determines how far you go. Number 3. They never feel the need to prove they're rich. The quietly wealthy have nothing to prove. No flashy flexing. No need to look the part. No hunger for outside validation. They've realized that real wealth whispers. It doesn't scream. You won't see them constantly upgrading their car, chasing designer brands, or showing off vacations on social media. In fact, many of them intentionally downplay their wealth. Not out of shame, but out of freedom. When you don't care about impressing others, your money finally starts working for you, not your image. While others spend to look rich, the quietly wealthy save and invest to stay rich. They find peace in modesty and pride in discipline. They know the real flex is having options, not obligations. Here's the secret. People who are secure in themselves don't need status symbols. Their confidence comes from what they've built, not what they broadcast. And ironically, the ones trying to look rich often aren't. The ones who are actually rich, you'd never guess. Because the more wealth you quietly accumulate, the less you feel the need to talk about it. Number 4. They quietly study what others ignore. If you look closely, wealthy people tend to notice things the average person overlooks. While most people scroll through social media or chase the next big trend, quietly wealthy people are paying attention to the stuff that feels boring. They're reading between the lines of financial statements, not just watching headlines. They're learning about taxes, compound interest, market cycles, not because they have to, but because they know it gives them an edge. They're not in a rush to act on every piece of advice. In fact, they wait. They think. They learn slowly, but deeply. They'll research a topic for months before making a move. And because of that, their decisions tend to be quiet, but smart. This doesn't mean they have it all figured out. Most of them still feel like they're catching up. But slowly, without much noise, they're building the kind of knowledge that compounds, just like their wealth. And here's the part most people miss. The things they're studying today, they won't pay off tomorrow. But in 5 years, in 10, That quiet studying turns into something most people only recognize after it's too late to catch up. Number 5. They choose boring over flashy. To the outside world, it might look like nothing special is happening. Same old car, same routine, same apartment. But that's exactly the point. Quietly wealthy people aren't chasing excitement with their money. They're chasing results. And more often than not, results come from doing the boring stuff consistently. Budgeting, automating investments, living below their means. They don't feel the need to constantly upgrade or impress. In fact, the more financially secure they become, the less interested they are in showing it. They know real wealth doesn't need validation. It grows silently in the background, while everyone else is focused on looking successful. While others are buying things to feel rich, they're buying time, peace, and flexibility. And ironically, it's the boring-looking choices that end up leading to a life most people only dream about. They're not being cheap, they're being intentional. Because for them, wealth isn't about what you show, it's about what you keep. And what you build over time, quietly, with discipline no one sees. Number 6. They build wealth in private, but think in decades. Quietly wealthy people have a strange superpower. They're incredibly patient. They're not rushing to double their money next month or jump on the next hot trend. Instead, they're planting financial seeds and giving them time to grow. While others chase get-rich-quick schemes, they're thinking in decades, not days. They understand that real wealth isn't built in a burst. It's built brick by brick. A little more saved this month, a little smarter investment, one more year of compounding returns. That long view changes how they act today. It keeps them from overreacting when the market dips. It helps them ignore lifestyle creep when their income rises. And it makes them calm, because when you're playing a 20-year game, you don't panic over a bad week. They build in silence. But behind that calm exterior is a strategy rooted in patience, brand clarity, and quiet confidence. They know exactly where they're going, and they're willing to take the slow road to get there, because that's the one that actually works. Number 7. They prioritize freedom over flexing. The quietly wealthy aren't chasing status, they're chasing freedom. While others burn through paychecks trying to look rich, the truly wealthy are buying something much rarer: autonomy. They don't care if you notice their car, their watch, or their clothes. What they care about is waking up without an alarm clock, saying no without stress, and spending their days on things that actually matter to them. That's why they skip flashy upgrades and avoid lifestyle creep. Not out of scarcity, but out of clarity. Every unnecessary expense is something that could have bought them time, peace, or flexibility. And they never trade real wealth for the illusion of it. They know the most expensive thing they could ever buy is trying to impress people they don't even like. So instead, they keep their lives lean, their calendars open, and their options wide. They drive the same car for years. They wear what's comfortable. They don't need to prove they've made it, because deep down, they already know they have. And that quiet confidence, that's the real flex. The real wealth is invisible. Here's the truth most people miss. Real wealth doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It moves quietly. It shows up in freedom, in peace of mind, in the ability to choose how you spend your time. It's not about impressing strangers. It's about building a life that feels good when no one's watching. These 7 habits aren't random quirks of successful people. They're intentional choices, practiced daily, refined over years, that create invisible momentum toward a rich life. If you recognized even a few of these in yourself, you're doing better than you think. And if you didn't, that's not a flaw. That's a map. Pick one habit. Start small. Stay consistent. Because quiet wealth isn't built in loud moments. It's built in quiet ones, repeated over time. And before long, you won't need to act rich. You'll just be rich, quietly. If this video opened your eyes to the quiet habits of the truly wealthy, make sure you don't stop here. Tap that like button, subscribe for more content that actually helps you build real wealth, not just flex it. And leave a comment with which of these 7 habits you're going to start practicing first. And if you're serious about taking the next step, check out our video on how to save 10K so fast it feels illegal. Because building wealth starts with mastering your money, one smart decision at a time. Links right below.